Well, hello. How are we all?
Hello, John.
Hi, Adam. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Jolly good. So, welcome one and all to this episode 138 of Chasing Dissent Live and censored from reporting the news. Yes, we were. So, we were going to lead with a story that happened in Mississippi, in a nursery there, weren't we, Adam?
We were, yes.
And it was basically what the nursery staff were wearing scream masks and terrifying the children, especially if they were bad. And then YouTube decided that that wasn't an appropriate video and put a strike on the back channel that holds the videos. So it appears that one cannot report the actual news on YouTube because it violates the community guidelines. Not very good. I have appealed, obviously, as a journalistic outfit. Then we should be able to report the news, and it should not be censored because, just because some people are doing wrong. I mean, we wanted to report that these people had been fired from their jobs, and quite rightly so, because what they were doing wasn't right. But if you can't show people what people are doing is wrong, how can then anyone learn from it? Indeed. What do you think?
I don't understand, John, what went on there, because that was a terrifying situation for those children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the nursery staff should be ashamed of themselves. And what's worse is that YouTube don't want that reporting. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I think you're 100% right, Adam. I think the whole thing's crazy. We'll see what they say when they come back to us. But, let's get into the list, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so... Oh, sorry, I went too far. I've gone too far. Why is it? Right, okay. So we're starting with the list. Fields of a new invasion, as Putin and Lukashenko are forming a joint task force. So Lukashenko is the chap from... Belarus, isn't he? Isn't he indeed? So, actually, do we want to see ourselves?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's have
Lukashenko has said that he's going to team up with Putin and send troops to the Ukraine border, but he is worried. I saw this yesterday reported that his troops are going to leave and do something else because they're not very committed to Belarus.
So the question is, where did he get these troops if they're not committed to Belarus? Are they Belarusians or are they mercenaries?
Maybe they were conscripted. Maybe he has. I don't know. But he is worried that they're going to leave and go off and do whatever they like.
The whole thing sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it?
It does rather, yeah.
Yeah. so now we have the picture of love, don't we? With our friend.
Yes. That's it.
Yep.
You've got it.
Our friend, I don't know why the keyboard stopped working. So our friend Vladimir and his wife Elena, war is making their love stronger.
Yes, they couldn't be closer in that photo either, could they? They look really in love, don't they?
All we need is to zoom out and take in the marriage guidance counsellor.
They obviously, I bet they had to Photoshop the hands together as well.
Yeah, they probably did. He's probably good. I don't know how to deal with this. It's not a green screen.
What I can't get over is even when he's doing a love photo like that, he's still in his green t-shirt.
Yeah.
He just has nothing else to wear, does he?
Well, I suppose maybe he's doing a Jeff Goldblum type thing, from, was it Jurassic Park when he did that? He wears black all the time because then it's one decision less to make every day, so it saves you time.
Yeah. Or maybe he's got like a Wallace and Gromit thing where he slides into his clothes every morning.
What's his name? The Apple guy. Oh, God. What's his name?
Oh, well, which one? Which Apple guy?
The founder of Apple.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Bloody hell. He did the same thing. He always wore black, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. There we go, John.
Yes, right. So we've done a bit of a dig into this, haven't we, Adam? Because
Yep.
we're trying to work out what happened here, because nothing's hit the bridge. Yeah?
No.
We're pretty sure nothing's actually hit the bridge. And
That's right.
we've seen two angles now, both called camera one for some obscure reason though.
That's right.
But taken from different ends of the bridge. So one's pointing one way and one's pointing the other. And one gives us this massive explosion, the other one gives us a kind of piddly little explosion, doesn't it?
Yes.
That we're not too concerned about. There's the crater on the ground.
Yes, and you can see 3 or 4 people standing by it there inspecting it, just
Yes.
on the right.
Yes. So this crater was apparently caused by a cruise missile. I don't know how big is a cruise missile crater, because it looks pretty small. And why is a cruise missile targeting a pedestrian bridge? Just a matter of interest.
Yes.
You know,
well, maybe it didn't. Maybe this was just one that went off course and ended up landing down there. It could have been a complete coincidence. But it doesn't look very burned either, that hole, does it?
No, it's a strange one, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we first saw these pictures, we saw what looked like an explosion from one direction, and then today we saw a different angle that was an explosion from a different direction. But because the dogleg in the bridge is at the angle it is, we think that might have explained why that explosion looks so different.
Yeah, so having said that, before and after pictures do show us that none of the bridge is damaged. So
that's right.
It wasn't really much of an explosion, was it?
No, exactly. And we could see the people walking along the bridge, and there was 2 people on the bridge at the time of the explosion, and one of them looked like he was daydreaming as the explosion hit, and he walked very slowly back off the bridge. Whether he was shell shocked, that might be the official explanation.
Well, he started running eventually.
Yeah.
And the other guy, you only see the shadow coming in from the bottom of the picture that's on screen just now.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it does look like this bridge has some sort of guard along it, doesn't it, as well? So whether that's a metal guard, and that might explain why there was not more damage to the bridge, I don't know. And if the crater is to be believed, then, we think that might have been the impact site, so it didn't actually hit the bridge at all. So, is this story really newsworthy anyway?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it just didn't hit the bridge. It's just, I mean, really, bloody hell, who cares? And it's like Ukrainians are going, our bridges are indestructible, Yeah, so it was more of a fireball than a shockwave. It didn't seem like a high explosive round that had gone off, did it? It was more like something burning, like a fuel air, like you ever put diesel? Oh, maybe I should ask. You ever put diesel in a can, suspended it from a set of goalposts, and then blown it up? Yeah, incendiary. Yeah, it probably was something like it.
It did look like a pyrotechnic explosion, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, it did. Right. So this guy Mark Ruffalo is weighed in now, because he's otherwise known as the Hulk, isn't he? So he says it's simple. Russia, leave Ukraine and it's over. World peace. Ukraine, no. Hold on a minute. World peace? So if Russia leaves Ukraine, we have world peace.
Has he forgotten about Somalia?
Has he forgotten about Somalia? Has he forgotten about the Yemen? Has he forgotten about the Gaza Strip? Has he forgotten about the Uyghurs? Has he forgotten about Tibet? Has he forgotten? Need I go on? How many times? I mean, has he forgotten about Afghanistan? In some respects, has he forgotten about Northern Ireland? Because that's still bubbling under,
Completely, yep.
Yeah, so he says that. So he obviously thinks that there's only Russia and Ukraine at loggerheads at the moment, which isn't the case. And then this guy, Hassan, who has replied to him, he's got a bit of a point, because he's used the same logic. And he says, European colonial settlers leave Palestine and it's over. Peace in the Middle East. Palestine can't leave Palestine. Fair point. European colonial settlers can always go back to Europe. I think the guy's made a valid point, and he's obviously quite smart because he's chosen his words carefully so as not to offend or be accused of anything.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, fair point. You got to give it to the guy. Well, why do we have these conflicts? Because people want something that other people don't think belongs to them, and it has to be sorted out at some point. And unfortunately, it isn't. Right. So you sent me this. You sent me this link today about fear driving China's tech manipulation poses threat to all, says the UK spy chief. Now, UK spy chiefs have got a habit of stating the absolute obvious. What do you take from that statement, Adam?
I just think, everything that the UK spy chief, Jeremy, whatever his name is, comes out with is propaganda, and he is there to promote British spying. I think obviously what he's doing here is he's saying that they're afraid of Chinese tech and they don't want it to exist, and they wish they'd got the technology to do the same as what China has, but they haven't. So they're going to use the old fear technique that China is dangerous because it's got all this technology, and they're going to kill us all. So
China bad. That's where China is. China bad. Yeah, so pretty much that's what they're saying, isn't it? It's pretty poor. So I thought this was quite good. Someone said this looks like a really depressed bear, and I said no. That's G, Vlad, and Tigger all sitting round a table discussing what's going on.
Let me get my blanket and reenact this. There we go.
Our friend Vlad. There you go. Get the blankets round and the coffees. Anyway, just a little bit of light relief there. PayPal. So as we know, PayPal's are they going to be the next victim of the go woke, go broke? Because their stock is down 6.3% since trading opened in New York. That was a result of them saying they were going to fine people and then backtracking on it. So their stock's still plummeting at the moment. What's your views on PayPal? Do you use PayPal, Adam, or?
I do have a PayPal account, but I try not to use it. I've never liked them. Their charges were too high when they first came along, and what they've been up to recently is just insane. I mean, it's bonkers to try and tell people what to do for a start, and then to say that they're going to try and fine people for doing something they don't agree with. They're not supposed to be political, but they've been political, and that is wrong, and they should go out of business as a result of it.
Yeah, I think, well, maybe they should, and it would be quite good for me because I owe them money at the moment, because I've ran up stuff on their free credit, so I haven't paid any interest on it, but I owe them cash. So
yeah.
If they go bust, then I'm a winner. So yeah. I'm taking the opposite view. I'm just maxing out the credit as long as I don't have to pay anything for it.
Best way.
We'll see how that goes. If while we're on that point, if you feel that you could donate some of your hard-earned credit to us, then we would really appreciate it to keep the lights on, keep food in the bellies, keep the show going. So you can always get us on ko-fi, that's kofi.com/chasing descent. This is our preferred payment method because they don't take a cut. And then you can also subscribe if you so desire on patreon.com/chasing descent or on subscribestar.com/chasing descent.
Links are in the chat.
Yep, no matter how you do it, we would really appreciate it. And we look forward to delivering more news to you on a continual basis if we manage to keep the lights on. So, what's next, Adam? What shall we look at next? Let me see. So next we're going on to our friend Latimer. And he's saying that European solar panel makers are closing down because of the high cost of power. So they're not able to make solar panels because it's costing them too much in electricity, I would imagine, to make the solar panels. So they're actually shutting down and finding it not beneficial to keep going. Now, does this not beg the question, why aren't they using solar power to make the solar panels? Because then that would be effectively free, wouldn't it? What do you think?
Yes. Yep, I agree. I mean, I watched Planet of the Humans recently, and
Right.
they have a big solar plant in Arizona that focuses all the solar energy using these very expensive glass reflectors up to a central point that captures the solar energy, and that point in the middle is powered by gas, by natural gas, and the mirrors all keep smashing, and they cost an absolute fortune to repair. So most of these mirrors are all smashed lying on the ground. And Arnold Schwarzenegger gives a speech during the film saying, solar power is the way to go. And you see him there cutting the cord outside this solar plant. But the cost of running this solar power plant with natural gas to keep it going and to repair these mirrors, the very expensive mirrors around the edge, is just phenomenal. And it's a good film to watch. It's called Planet of the Humans. It's directed by Michael Moore, actually.
That sounds really interesting. So what does the gas actually do?
I'm not entirely sure. There are, if you Google it, there is a picture of it, and this gas does keep burning in the middle. And one of the comments during the film was that if the gas stops burning, this plant becomes useless.
Oh, right. That sounds strange. Speaking of useless things, what about this that you showed me earlier on today?
Yeah. This is the NATO Seafox drones. Now, there are several countries, the Five Eyes, that have the technology to build these kind of drones and send them under the sea for all sorts of different uses. Could they be military uses? Who knows? But in this case, Kim.com thinks they are being used by the military, and they've been used to blow up pipelines. Now, we don't know if that's true, but it could be.
I mean, he's saying it's an explosive device. It might be, it might not.
And interestingly, the Grey Zone have reported that they've tried to do this before using these drones.
Yeah.
And they did a test with these drones on a pipeline that was successful, and they've planned it all out before. So they've got past experience of doing it.
Sounds interesting. Right, moving on. This is not Kiev. This is what Serbia looked like every night for 78 nights in a row when it was bombed by NATO during the Bosnia-Herzegovina conflict.
Looks shock and awe to me, John.
Well, it does, and if you remember correctly, the shock and awe was used in the 1991 Gulf War, and then what was the second one? When was the second one? 2000 something, was it?
I will find out. Let me have a look.
I can't remember. But anyway, the 1991 one was definitely shock and awe. And then people are going on about they're wanting to. They want to have Vladimir Putin taken to The Hague and tried for war crimes because he's admitted sending a few missiles into Kiev. These things happen in war. Civilians do unfortunately get caught up in it. It's called collateral damage, and it happens occasionally. But if anyone's an expert at it, it's NATO and the US in particular, because their track record when it comes to collateral damage is appalling. I mean, they drop drones on weddings and wipe out, the majority of people there to take out one terrorist. Their helicopter gunships shoot up a minibus full of kids. They shoot up another minibus full of journalists. They're really they're not the best at pointing fingers when it comes to things like this, because they really are a bit like Team America World Police. They just go off on one. And it's quite disturbing, and yet no one no one on our side, well, when I say our side, I mean the West, but no one gets taken to the Hague and held to account. So why should anyone from anywhere else? I mean, really, does it ever happen? Do governments ever get held to account? Only in severe circumstances like World War II. And even then, the majority of people that were involved in that carry-on got well-paying jobs in either America or Russia because the scientific value of them was too high. So who really gets held to account? No one in particular.
They always do investigations, don't they, a few years later to determine, who was at fault, if there was a war crime committed and that sort of thing. The Iraq War was 2003 to 2011, according to Britannica.
Yeah, right. That'll be about right. Okay, cool. Right, so we mentioned this I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure that I mentioned it, that house prices were at the risk of a slump. There was going to be a crash in the housing market, and it appears the Times is starting to agree with us. So they're reckoning that house prices are overvalued by a third and are likely to fall. How would that make you feel, Adam? I
don't want to read this article. I'm not getting involved in this conversation.
Having just bought a house.
Luckily, I'm on a fixed rate mortgage, so hopefully.
Yeah, so maybe the house will be back up in value by the time you die, and you can leave it to your children. So let's move swiftly on. Right, so tell me about this one. I mean, first of all, it looks like a real person until you check out the arms, and then you think, hold on, what's going on here? Yes,
I don't know why they've given her a bob and why she's wearing dungarees. I mean, what significance they are to her, and they've made her obviously female as well when we know she isn't.
Because she's not human, is she?
Well, she's not a she either, so
exactly.
We can confidently state that in this case. So yeah, I mean, she's been asked to give evidence to the House of Lords, hasn't she?
Yeah. What? It's a bit strange. What?
Well, it's an inquiry into tech and creativity. So what she is telling people, I have no idea, and why that's important. Coming through an AI, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely of the opinion that AI doesn't exist at the moment. At this moment in time, I mean, there's no evidence to suggest that there's any kind of intelligence within these bots. It's all programming and it's all responding to keywords and cues and things like that. It's nothing to do with them generating any kind of intelligence. I just don't believe it. And I dug into it quite deeply when I was looking at the Lambda stuff, and there was no way that even showed any glimmer of intelligence, because it was just completely responding, and the decision tree process that it goes through, while complicated, is nowhere near making up its own mind. Everything in there is programmed, and the same goes for this. Everything in that girl is going to be programmed, or well, I say girl because it looks like a girl, but everything in that bot is completely programmed, and that's all it'll ever be. I don't think you're ever going to see AI, because there's more to it than just the random firing of neurons.
Yes,
there must be something.
Well, it's all algorithm based, isn't it? And the military at the moment are working on this project called Marvel, and it's using the Marvel logo as well. And the idea behind it is they're going to use it for their future soldier program, so that soldiers will be enhanced with the AI technology they need to go into battle and fight battle with this Marvel technology.
So they want to. Are they going to do things like embed? Are they going to embed like tech into soldiers?
Well, I assume so. I mean, maybe they'll come along with spikes that shoot out of their fingers, and they might be able to wear exoskeletons, and the AI will help them with that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's more about like using technology on the battlefield, like drones and things like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe it is. So sometimes memes are worthwhile, and this one in particular it's just got legs and it's running and running, isn't it?
It is. It's brilliant. Did you see Jeremy Bowen's response to
Yeah.
how angry he got about these kind of tweets?
Yeah, he's not a happy bear, is he? He just wasn't happy about it at all.
He wasn't. He virtue signalled as well during the response to everybody, and he basically said, "You've got to remember the people of Ukraine." I'll see if I can find the tweet and go through it. It was. I can't find it at the moment, but it was hilarious, and he was so angry. You could tell he was angry that people had done this to him and put him in situations where he shouldn't be.
But what was he actually doing? I mean, why go along with it if it wasn't right? I mean, it can't be right because there's a woman standing there with her shopping, and she's looking on bemused at him, thinking, "What is this plonker doing?" Because he's obviously got a film crew with him as well. So the question is, they're standing up because they're shooting down on him. You know, I mean, you can see how high the camera is from the angle. Even in this, you can see how high his camera is. So they're standing up. They're probably not wearing any protective gear because there's no real shooting going on. And I mean, it's just he's making a mockery of these people. He pretends to defend them, but he's actually making a mockery of them, isn't he?
If I was Jeremy and I'd been caught out like that, I'd just say, "Look, I'm just lying down to have a rest."
Hands up, yeah. Put your hands up and go, "Yeah, okay, fair cop, gov." You know, sometimes there's a time to fight it, and then there's a time to say, "Yeah, okay."
It'd be all right if that woman wasn't wearing bright pink in the background as well, and she was such a target. You know, you're not in a war zone when she's carrying her shopping bags and she's looking like that.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of targets, what's this clown doing in New York? Is this Johnny Depp? It says Johnny Depp's on. This is from the New York Post, which has been a bit light on news. Normally we get a lot of fun from the New York Post.
Has he lost his teeth?
Well, that's what I said. I said, has he forgotten to put his teeth in? That's what's going on. That just doesn't look like Johnny Depp.
It doesn't at all, unless he's been seriously doing the drugs since his trial, maybe.
I mean, it could really be anyone. I
know he spends a lot of time with badgers, John, so maybe that's having an effect on him.
God, no. You and your badgers.
He's always at wildlife rescues, isn't he? And there's one in Somerset that I know that he goes to quite a lot. So,
what does he do with these badgers?
I think he just goes and handles them and plays with them.
Good God. Good God, no. This is quite unfortunate because we've ripped through the news in about half an hour today. We've only got a couple of things left. Yeah, I think DW says that's a lookalike. I think it is a lookalike. I don't think that's a real Johnny Depp.
No, he looks about 90 as well.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like Johnny Depp.
No, it doesn't at all.
I mean, has Johnny Depp got all those tattoos and things on his hands?
I'll investigate that one because those rings as well. It just doesn't look like him. Yeah.
I'm not convinced at all. And Shalini says, piss poor look alike at that. I think you could be right, Shalini. I think you could. Speaking of piss poor, who is this woman and who dresses her?
Is she dressed as a burrito?
Yeah, tacos. Well, tacos, I think. Has taco shells on her dress.
It is. You're right.
That's Jill, isn't it?
It is.
Her first lady. It's her first lady, and she's dressed as a Mexican snack.
Do you think she was paid by Taco Bell to dress like that?
Is this not offensive? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not one for all this cultural appropriation crap. I mean, being Scottish, we get culturally appropriated all the time anyway. But what the hell is she thinking, dressing like that as the First Lady? Did somebody not say to her, like, what are you wearing?
Maybe it's a Mexican thing. Maybe she's welcoming the Mexicans in.
Possibly. Right. I'm going to see. Do you think we should have another go at playing the videos from yesterday that didn't get to play?
Yeah, let's do it.
I've made a slight alteration to see if we don't get an echo. So we'll see how it goes. Are we
ready? So we had just a little quick video made up. Would you like to see it?
How would you say your mental focus is?
Oh, it's focused. I haven't. Look.
Let's get ready to bumble!
I think it's a right for people to have bad health care. True international average of pressure. God, I can't believe I said that. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
Y'all ready for this?
I was going to And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. Wait. All men and women created by you know the thing. If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. We went for two reasons. One, to come on, man. The guy who runs that outfit over there. I've had a couple Washingtons, but the nature, not Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Ready for this?
What am I doing here? Tucker. Yeah. I got hairy legs that turn. That. Thank you for tolerance, for listening to me. I appreciate it very much. What?
Yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
He's brilliant, isn't he? He is like a sort of a Mr. Bean Monty Python character that's been installed to just make people laugh.
So the question asked though was it fair? Was it fair that should be shown at a Trump rally, and should he really be mocking the incumbent president of the United States? And in my view, yeah, it's fair, because the guy's in the public light. He's put himself out there, so it's fine. He's going to be mocked. I don't think it's a problem. What do you think?
Yep, I agree. I think the poor old chap definitely needs to look for somewhere permanent to stay, not the White House, because he's in serious mental decline.
Yeah, he is. There's no doubt about it. The guy's struggling. He really is. And I think this brings us to the last item on the show tonight, or today, which is going to be our friend Nicola. And I'm not a great fan of this interview, Naga Munchetti, but Nicola doesn't really do herself any favours here at all. I think it's worth watching it.
Government, and obviously from
you have said that.
Yesterday, and the worries people have about. Well, it's important. It's important.
I know. I've heard it. I've heard you say it. I'm interested, because you are in Aberdeen now, and Aberdeen obviously is reliant, and sources of jobs obviously reliant on that industry. What would you say to them? It's about, I think the oil and gas sector supports around 100,000 jobs in Scotland, responsible for 5% of Scotland's GDP. I mean, what do you say to them about their jobs transitioning? When does that happen to them?
Well, if you've been listening to me, I was directly addressing those points. I pointed out to you the economic impact and the number of jobs that are dependent on oil and gas.
You did, and my question was, what happens to those?
Well, we transition them into the massive potential we currently have on renewable energy. One of the other things.
Poor woman.
I know. She just she isn't very good at all, is she, at getting her point across. Once she's gone off script, that's it. She's fine when she's on script and she keeps everything going, but as soon as the script changes, that's it. She's dead in the water, isn't she?
It does seem like they were having two different conversations with different people.
Yeah, I know. I mean, she just she's lost it. Anyway, is there anything else that you think we could chat about?
I think we've done the solar panels. We've done the bridge, which was important. We've not really got much else, have we?
No,
today.
It's been a bit of a slow morning. I mean, we spent quite a bit of time on that bridge because at one point we thought that maybe they'd done it twice, because the explosions looked that different. I tell you what we didn't cover today, and we didn't get the chance to cover, was the phone footage from that girl, the one that had the frame. Remember the circular frame?
Yes.
Right, so we had phone footage, and I put it up on YouTube, but YouTube's not playing, so I can't play it to you just now. But yeah, so the phone footage from that girl who was apparently going home or whatever, and she's boom, boom, and it was so fake. It's just so fake. It's just like unbelievably bad.
Yes, yeah, we did see an orange sort of background appear around her, and then that was supposedly a rocket, wasn't it?
Yeah, and what's his name? Wyatt Reed. Wyatt Reed's blocked someone for calling him out when he was going back to his hotel, and he sent some I mean, and Wyatt Reed's like Wyatt Reed's a member of the what do you call it, the Russian state affiliated media, right? And he blocked me because I only said that I couldn't make a determination because his video wasn't showing me anything, because all he did was show a bit of the ground, a car alarm going off in the Dota Hotel. Now there was no explosion or anything, so nobody knew what the hell was going on, and to be fair, everybody's agreed with me, and yet he blocks me for that. Why?
Yes. Yep.
That's poor.
One of the chaps that we were speaking to this morning showed a map of the area where the bridge was and where this girl was, and they were reasonably close together, according to him and according to this map that he put on Twitter. So, this could be a valid target, and it could have been a missile or several missiles. We just don't know, and we'll never know. It looks like it was just a big hole in the ground again, in the road, and we can't tell from that what's going on.
Yeah, and a lot of this footage that we're seeing from Ukraine, let's be fair, we haven't seen much in the way of footage recently until after the bridge was attacked in Crimea, and now we're seeing quite a lot of phone footage that surprisingly we'd never seen before. But all this footage, a lot of it doesn't look real. So, I mean, one of the things that we discussed this morning, Adam, was that I think we've been conditioned, because when you look at movies and things these days, a lot of the explosions aren't real. They're CGI'd in, or they're fake, and there's quite a big difference. And Ben would testify to this as well. I think there's a massive difference between stuff that's CGI'd in and then when they build a real set and actually blow things up. And when they blow things up, it looks so much better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And I think what's happened, though, people are getting conditioned to the point where they're seeing fake footage on phones and stuff and thinking it's real because they see it in movies. And it's not, people. Be critical. I mean, one of the other ones we discussed was Zelensky and his when he was apparently in the street again, before he went to his bunker.
That's right.
And what you were pointing out, there's like a black line round them. I said it was chroma key from the start. I thought that's bad green screening, and it certainly looks like chroma key. But when you look closely, there's a glimmer round them, and there's almost like a shadow where they've softened the blur, to make it less of a hard definition between him and the background. So that's more than just a long lens on a wide aperture, with a blurry background. That's not caused by that. That's definitely chroma key. So he just doesn't go out in the streets anymore, does he?
No, you pointed out that the background was perfectly in focus as well as Zelensky's face. So there's definitely something odd about the video itself. Yeah. I mean, it's like your chroma key there, and yours is breaking up slightly.
That's right. Yes, it does. You can see around here. Yeah, and Zelensky. I mean, and it looks as good as Zelensky's does when the chair's not involved.
That's right. If I push it back a bit, there we go, and focus.
But really, it's you can tell that it's not real.
That's right. I mean, I'm in fact in Ukraine right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I thought you were waiting on the. I thought you were in the Cheyenne Mountain waiting on the nuke dropping. We've
just had a comment from Militant Mushroom.
The New York Post.
And he wants some New York Post.
Yeah, I miss the New York Post as well. I'll need to have a dig around and see if I can find some for tomorrow. Because
they've not got very much good stuff on there today. It's all quite serious.
No, see, this is the thing. It's feast and famine sometimes. Sometimes, like yesterday, we had news coming out of our ears. I mean, okay, we ripped through it quickly, I think, because we're kind of, we don't play off each other the same as Ben and I do, from that point of view. And that's just because we're different, it's a different combination when it's us two than when Ben's here. And I do miss our little buddy.
Yeah. I think looking at the New York Post today, they've covered all the missile strikes. They've got Putin versus playgrounds.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's like nobody targets a playground. I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it? So a missile's aimed at something and it hits a playground. Yeah, we aimed at the playground because if we take out the infrastructure of them so they cannot play, they will not develop properly as children. They're taking the long view.
Militant Mushrooms asked about the article we spoke about before with the chess cheat.
Oh, the chess cheat, yeah. The chess cheat was a classic, and we've actually I've done the chess cheat twice now because we've done it on the show, and I did it on Sonia Poulton's show on Monday morning. So yeah, we know all about the chess cheat and his anal beads and how the hell that's supposed to work. It just boggles the mind. It boggles the absolute mind.
The MSM didn't mention the anal beads either, which made me laugh.
No, it's BBC did a whole article on it and never once mentioned how he was actually supposed to have been cheating. Yeah, they scanned him. They scan him with a metal detector apparently to see if they could detect metal hidden in his ass. Whole thing's ridiculous. So I think we're just about there, Adam. Yeah,
I think so.
I think
we've
so.
Done it.
So I'd like to thank you one and all for coming along and listening to our little show. Again, if you feel so inclined to give us any kind of donation, ko-fi.com/Chasing Descent. That's ko-fi.com/Chasing Descent. Patreon.com/Chasing Descent. Or indeed on subscribestar.com/Chasing Descent. Anything you can give is gratefully received and very much appreciated. And that's it from me and Adam. I'd like to say that's us for today. Good day to you, and may your God go with you.
Bye.
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Stop playing with my bust!
Good night, everybody.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy.
You're a what?
A pianist!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
You have been a delightful audience to talk. Good night. Thank you.
Oh, my bottom hurts. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob.
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to go now. I've been standing here for a very long time. I think the end of the show must have come and gone.
There you go. That's our solar system. You forgot Uranus. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You've been very nice to work to.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.